Hello students, how are you all? I hope you all are fit and fine and doing very well with your families at your home, and you all are safe. Yes, being safe is very important for you and for your family. So, I, your English teacher, welcomes my 6th standard student in today's new video of English subject, and in this video we are going to learn about chapter number 10, that is A Friend in Need by R.K. Narayan. So let me ask you something. Do you have any friends who helps you, who guide you, what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong? A one whom you can call him or her your friend. So in this chapter, there is a group of boys. Some of them are friends, some of them are enemies, and how they end up together as one group of good friends. So let's first see the characters of the chapter. So each and every character of the group of boys are different, having their own opinions, their own thoughts, and they want to do things according to themselves. So here are character number 1, that is Swaminathan Akaswami. The second character is Mani. The third character is Rajam. The fourth character is Somu. Character number 5, Shankar. And the last character is P. So the chapter is about this group of boys, how they were having crisis and how they ended up together as friends. So are you all ready and excited for the story ahead? Yes? Then let's get started. So chapter number 10, A Friend in Need. So everyone is having that story, that event of your childhood that you never forget about, the memories about your friends. So here, the story starts from one afternoon. So before we start the chapter, let's read the cautions. Do you quarrel with your friends? Can you stay for long without talking to them? Read this story about Swami and his friends and find out if there are any similarities between your group of friends and theirs. Okay, now let's start. One afternoon, 3 weeks later, Swaminathan stood before Mani's house and gave a low whistle. Mani joined him. They started for Rajam's house, speculating on the way about the surprise which Rajam had said he would give them if they saw him that afternoon. I think, said Swaminathan, Rajam is merely joking. It is merely a trick to get us to his house. He was very nearly pushed into a gutter for this doubt. Probably he has bought a monkey or something. Swaminathan ventured again. Mani was gracious enough to admit that it might be so. They thought of all possible subjects that might surprise them and gave up the attempt in the end. Now, what happens? Their thoughts turn to their enemies. You know what I am going to do? Mani asked. I am going to break Somu's vest. I know where he lives. He lives in Kabir Street behind the market. I have often seen him coming out at nights to a shop in the market for bitter leaves. I shall first sling a stone at the municipal lamp and put it out. You have no idea how dark Kabir Street is. I shall wet with my club, and as soon as he appears, he will sprawl in the dust with broken bones. Swaminathan shuddered at the thought. And that is not all, said Mani. I am going to get that pea under my heel and press him to the earth. And Shankar is going to hang up by his staff over Sarayu from a papal branch. Now, as they were talking about the enemies and the thoughts, now they reached to Rajam's house. They stopped talking when they reached Rajam's house. The gate was bolted, that means locked, and they got up the wall and jumped in. A servant came running towards them. He asked, "Why did you climb the wall?" Here is the servant, and when the friend, Swami and Mani, they saw the gate was locked, they jumped over the wall. And at that time, this servant came running and asked them, like, "Why did you climb the wall?" So what did they answer? "Is the wall your property?" Mani asked and burst into laughter. Ha ha ha. "But if you had broken your ribs," the servant began. "What is that to you? Your ribs are safe, are they not?" Swaminathan asked ungraciously and laughed. Ha 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 ha. "And just a word more," Mani said. "Do you happen to be by any chance the police superintendent's son?" "No, no," replied the servant. "Very well then," replied Mani. "We have come to see and talk to the police superintendent's son." And then, by hearing that, the servant beat a hasty retreat. They banged their fist on Rajam's door. Like this. They heard the clicking of the latch and hid themselves behind the pillar. Rajam peeped out and shut the door again. They came out, stood before the door, and wondered what to do. Swaminathan applied his mouth to the keyhole and mewed like a cat. Meow, meow. Mani pulled him away and put his mouth to the keyhole, barked like a dog. Woo, 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 woo. The latch clicked again and the door slightly opened. Mani whispered to Swaminathan, "You are a blind kitten. I will be a blind puppy. Mani fell down on his knees and hands, shut his eyes tight, pushed the door with his head, and entered Rajam's room in the role of a blind puppy. So now Rajam is in the character of blind puppy and Swaminathan will play the character of blind kitten. Swaminathan crawled behind him and shut his eyes, mewing for all he was worth. They moved around and round the room, Rajam adding to the interest of the game by mewing and barking in answer every few seconds. So the play has begun. Now Rajam is playing the character of blind puppy and Swaminathan is playing the character of blind kitten. And now they entered into the room. As they are blind, they have shut their eyes and they started roaming round and round around the room. So now they are barking and mewing all they are worth of. And for fun, for more fun and interest in this play, Rajam is also answering them by mewing and barking as his answer in every few seconds. The blind puppy brushed its side against a leg and thinking that it belonged to Rajam, softly bite the calf muscle. So now blind puppy is blind, that is Mani. He brushed his side against a leg. When he was roaming round and round around the room, he felt a leg. So he thought that leg is of Rajam and then he started biting the calf muscle. Imagine its confusion when it opened its eyes and saw that it was biting its enemy, Somu. So now he was a little bit confused that what's happening, and when he opened his eyes to just clear his confusion, he saw that he is not biting his friend's calf muscle, Rajam, but he was biting the calf muscle, the leg of his enemy, and that is Somu. The blind kitten nestled close to a leg and scratched it with his paw. So now Swaminathan is not knowing anything what's happening. He has not opened his eyes yet. So he is just nestled. Nestled means settled comfortably, closing his eyes, and now he is scratching another leg with his paw. Opening its eyes, it found that it was fondly a leg that belonged to its enemy Shankar. So now when he opened his eyes, he saw that that is not Rajam, that is its enemy Shankar. So now Mani and Swami are in a big shock because they are in their friend's house, that is Rajam, and in that house they have saw the enemy, that enemies like Somu and Shankar, to whom a while ago they were planning to beat, and now they are sitting in front of their eyes while they are playing this immature play of blind puppy and blind kitten. So Mani remained stunned for a moment and then scrambled to his feet. He looked round, his face twitching with shame and rage. He saw the pea sitting in a corner, his eyes twinkling with mischief, and felt impelled to take him by the throat. He turned round and saw Rajam regarding him steadily, his mouth still quivering with a smothered grin. So now Mani is so surprised, shocked at the same time that he remains stunned for a moment, and then he stand back to his feet. Then he scrambled to his feet. He looked round, his face twitching with shame and rage. Obviously, you are playing at your friend's house, and now you saw. He was very shocked that what's happening, why are my enemies in my friend's house while he was doing a playful act, and because of that he was feeling very ashamed, embarrassed, and he was all full of rage, like how can they do this to me, how can Rajam do this to me, why are they here, and like with lots of anger along with embarrassment, awkward feelings. It was all together. And then he saw the pea sitting in a corner with his eyes twinkling with mischief, like I saw everything, now let's see what happens when we go out. Now you look, I'll tell everybody about this embarrassing moment, with his mischief eyes. And Rajam was so, he was feeling such an anger that he wants to impale P by his throat. Like that much anger he was having at that time. He turned around and saw Rajam regarding him steadily. When he turned around, Rajam was standing, and his mouth was still quivering with a smoothened grin, a light smile like that. As for Swaminathan, he felt that the best place for himself would be the darkness and obscurity under a table or a chair. Now, Swaminathan was feeling so embarrassed. He was so embarrassed that he was like, मैं कहीं पर छुप जाऊं, गिर जाऊं, like अंधेरे में चला जाऊं. I'm not here, I'm not even here. I don't know anything, what's happening, I don't want to be here. Yeah. And now, the next thing is, what do you mean by this, Rajam? Mani asked. Why are you so wild? It was your fault, Mani said vehemently. I didn't know. He looked around. Well, I didn't ask you to crawl and bark, did I? And so the Somu and the company laughed. Mani glared around. I'm going away, Rajam. This is not the place for me. So now there is a little conversation between Mani and Rajam. Like, what do you mean by this, Rajam? इससे तुम्हारा क्या मतलब है? And then Rajam, in the answer, he replies that, why are you so wild? It's Mani, like, yeah, it's all your fault. I didn't know that you are going to ask like this, my enemies to your home. You will invite them along with me together in same roof, under the roof. Like, how? Why? And then Rajam is like, well, I didn't ask you to crawl and bark. मैंने तुम्हें इसे नाटक करने को, भौंकने को तो नहीं बोला था. Did I? And along with that, the company, the Somu and the company men, Somu, P and Shankar, they started laughing. And Mani glared around. I'm going away, Rajam. This is not the place for me. मैं यहाँ से जा रहा हूँ. ये मेरी जगह नहीं है यहाँ पर कोई. Rajam replied, you may go away if you don't want me to see you or speak to you anymore. तुम जा सकते हो. उसके बाद I'm not gonna ever meet you or talk to you. Mani forgot it uneasily. Rajam took him aside and soothed him. Rajam then turned to Swaminathan, who was lost in bottomless misery. He comforted and flattered him by saying that It was the best imitation of a cat and dog that he had ever witnessed in his life. He admitted that for a few minutes he would wonder whether he was watching a real cat and a dog. They would get prizes if they did it in a fairs. Fairs means mela. If Swaminathan and Mani would be good enough to repeat the fun, he would be delighted and even ask his father to come and watch. So now, everyone like Mani and Swaminathan are like against Rajam, like what you did is wrong, buddy. So to compensate that, first of all, Rajam treated that if you want to go, you can go away. Then afterwards, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. So Mani was like, he was walking restlessly. And after that, Rajam took Mani and Swami. Swami was like, what's going on? I don't know anything about this matter. So Rajam took both Mani and Swami in a corner. He comforted and flattered him by saying that it was the best imitation of a cat and a dog to make him good, make him feel good. So Raja was like, you are the best actors. You would get prizes if you have get involved in a competition in fairs or somewhere. So the imitation of cat and dog was mind-blowing and I liked it very much. And if they want to repeat it once again for him, he will ask his father to come and watch them imitate dog and a cat. So right now, the mood is getting under control. This was suiting Swaminathan and Mani felt proud of themselves. Like Mani and Swami is like, haha, I know we are good actors, we are good artists. And after the round of eating they followed, they were perfectly happy except when they thought of the other three in the room. So now they are talking, they are giving, compensating each other's and smoothing the mood. And after a round of eating, they then like everything is fine. Three of them is back as a friend. And now they have to go back to the room. And just the thought of that is making themselves uncomfortable. They were in the state of mind when Rajam began a lecture on friendship. Now Rajam started giving lecture like what is friendship? Friendship का मतलब क्या होता है? How friends should be. He said impressing things about friendship, quoting from his book, the story of the dying old man and sticks, which proved that union was strength. Now he started giving all the lectures about friendship, quoting, and a story about an old man. The dying old man. I'm sure like most of you have heard the story. So there is a old man. He has a bunch of boys, his sons, who were always fighting with each other, and they were not even trying to sit together, and they were all time they were fighting. So he was very worried about his children. So once when he was dying he was sleeping on his deathbed, he called all his sons and gave them one stick and asked them to break it. And everyone did so, and the stick broke. And afterwards, he gave them, each of them, a bundle of sticks together. And then again he asked them to break it. And now each and everyone is trying to break the bundle, but the bundle is not moving an inch. So then the old man gave them this advice, the lesson that, see, beta, if you're alone, anyone can break you down, bring you down. But when you are together as one, then no one can break you or can harm you. So, unity is strength. So that was the story. He again told Mani and Swami about the dying old man, and it was true that union was strength. A friend in need was a friend indeed. He then started giving hair-raising accounts of what hell, yani ki Jahannam, had in store for person who frustrated enmity. So now he started talking about after that, like what will happen if you continue this enmity, and how the angels are gonna treat them after that. So according to Rajam, it was written in Vedas that a person who fostered enmity should be locked up in a small room after his death. Like if someone continues, so now they all are talking about that. Like कोई भी अगर दुश्मनी को बढ़ावा देगा and all, that person after his death, he is gonna be locked up in a small room, and he would be made to stand stark naked, not a single piece of cloth on his or her body, on a pedestal of red hot iron. There were beehives all around with bees as big as lemons. If the sinner, means Gunahagar, stepped down from the pedestal, he would have to put his foot on immense scorpions and centipedes that crawled about the room in hundreds. Like the person is standing on the pedestal of red hot iron, and because of the pain, that person, if gets down, he would be stepping on hundreds and hundreds of scorpions and centipedes that are crawling in that room. The shudder went through the company. Like each and every one except Rajam is now like fearing and having that, thartarahat, like goosebumps. Like, yeah, that's cruel. That's very cruel and hard. And then he continued. Rajam continued about the room in hundreds. The sinner would have to stand thus for months without food or sleep. At the end of the month, he would be transferred to another place. Like the punishment is not to the end. This is just a trailer. Again, after a month, he would be transferred to another place. A very narrow bridge over a lake of boiling oil. The bridge was so narrow that he would be able to keep only one foot on it at a time. Even on the narrow bridge, there were plenty of wasp nests and cactus. He would be guarded, yani ki pushed from behind to move on. He would have to balance on one foot and then on another for ages and ages to keep himself from falling into the steaming, boiling hot oil lake below and move on indefinitely. Like there is no end of that bridge. Now the company was greatly impressed. Like, yeah, that must be a fact or a truth that Rajam is saying because he said according to Vedas, and Vedas are the holy books for them. So Rajam then invited everyone to come forward and say that they would have no more enemies. या वो कभी भी किसी से दुश्मनी नहीं करेंगे. If Shankar said it, he would get a gift. He would get a bond, not book. If Swaminathan said it, he would get a clockwork engine. If Somu said it, he would get a belt, and if Mani said it, he would get a pocket knife, and the P would get a marvelous little pen. So here are some gifts for Rajam's friends if they say they are not gonna make any more enmity or enemies ever again. He threw open the cupboard and displayed the prizes. There was silence for some time as each ate, gnawing his nails. Gnawing means keep biting. Rajam was sweaty with his peacemaking efforts. So now the P was the first to raise. He stood before the cupboard and said, "Let me see the fountain pen." Rajam gave it to him. P turned it round and gave it back without any comment. "Why, don't you like it?" Rajam asked. The pea kept staring into the cupboard and said, "Can I have that box?" He pointed at a tiny box with a yellow and black design and on it and a miniature Taj Mahal on its lid. Rajam said, "I can give you that. I want it." He paused. He had 2 more boxes like that in his trunk. He changed his mind and then he said, "No, I don't want it. You can take the box if you like." In a short while, Mani was sharpening a knife on his palm. Somu was trying a belt on. Shankar was figuring a thick bond notebook, and Swaminathan was jealously clasping a green engine to his bosom. Bosom means chest. So here, the 6 of them together started being a new journey of being a friends again. And the story was taken from the book Swami and Friends by R.K. Narayan. So here R.K. Narayan is the author, and his life journey was from 1906 to 2001. He was an Indian author. He is best known for his stories based on an imagined town in India called Malgudi. Narayan's writing have helped to make Indian literature in English popular all over the world and is regarded as one of the greatest novelists of the 20th century. Some of his popular books include Swami and Friends, The Financial Expert, and The Guide. So here, the story about Swami and his friends. The friends were a group of 6 friends. That is Swaminathan, Mani, Rajam, Somu, Shankar, and P. So I hope you got to know about them and how the friends is important for each and every life and how one should help each other to stay friends together. So I hope you liked the video and understood the chapter, and thank you for watching it. Let's meet in our next chapter. Till then, stay home, stay safe. Bye.